Hine yesh levar. So we're in Yud Gimel in the OTZROT CHAIM.
Right.
Hine yesh levar behektim ki yeshnom chamisha partzufim klolim. There are 5 general partzufim, which he said are systems of 10 spheres each.
Right.
Name, and their names are Arich Anpin, which is Kesed, Abba, which is Chachma, Ima, which is Bina, Ze'er Anpin, which is the 6 middle ones, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, and Hod, and then
And
Nukva,
Yesod. Don't leave out Yesod.
I'm sorry. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, right?
Right.
And then Nukva, Ze'er Anpin, which is Malchus.
Right.
So v'chol hapartzufim halalu, all these systems are remuzim b'shem havayo. They're all hinted at in the name of Hashem, the 4-letter name of Hashem. But Eifin, shekutzei shel yod, the crown on top of the yod. Kutzei is the crown or the bottom part?
It's really the tip. That's the point, but it's really the tip.
The tip of the yod.
Yeah. So the very top, we'll just have to live with it. And just give me 1 second, because I was busy listening to what you're doing. And, okay, where are we at the top line on the second column?
Yeah.
So we said the Corona is Mermezes Lanuk Dezer Anpin, which is the daughter, okay?
Right. V'chol partzuf me'elu hachamisha partzufim, each system of these 5 systems, kol me'eser spheres, contains a complete set of the eser spheres. Ve'al shem zeh, Aim Nikram b'shem partzuf, and that's why they're called a partzuf. Ki eser spheres mahavim shir kaima upartzuf shalim. The 10 spheres together creates a full system, or what we call a kaima, a shir kaima, which is like the full picture. I don't know how do you translate the word kaima.
Well, coma really does mean like vertical. It's a vertical idea, one on top of the other. So it's like a column, kuma.
Kuma. So Mahavim Shir Kuma means that it creates what's a shear of a kaima?
Well, the kuma has a certain quantity or a certain size, let's say, and that size is 10 spheros.
So 10 spheros would be, so if we're talking about a partzuf that has a full 10 spheros, then that means that each one has its own shir kuma.
Well, that might be a little deeper than what he was saying, but he's saying that each partzuf has its own shir kuma. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so ba'ofen shepartzuf arich, the partzuf of arich, yesh ba asara igulim elu b'seich elu. That one itself has its own 10 balls within each other. Shehem keser chachma bina chesed gevura tiferes netzach hod yesod malchus. So that meaning the arich itself has its own 10 balls. V'chein partzuf abba yesh ba asara igulim, that also has its own 10 balls. Elu b'seich elu. One within the next. V'chein parts of imo yesh ba asara igulim, v'af parts of ze'er anpin mischalach la asara igulim. Af al pi, now the ze'er anpin it sounds like really shouldn't be, because af al pi sha ze'er anpin yatsa ben sheish spheres bilvad. Even though, like he said before, that ze'er anpin is comprised of the 6 middle spheres, which is chesed, gvura, tiferes, netzach, hod, and yesod, it still has its own form of the 10 igulim.
Very good.
So now, I mean, I don't know exactly visually how that would play out.
That's right. But he said that. Let's see what else he says about it. So we'll put out za now. Yatsa ben sheish sferos bilvad. Okay.
V'chein benuk yesh eser spheros ze b'seich ze. Af al pi shelo yatsa ela nekuda achas. Even though it's only 1 dot, I guess it's very small.
Or or maybe something like that. But yeah, okay.
V'hine kasher chut or ein seif yered al teicha chalal, when the of the ein seif goes into the main chalal, nispashtu by ha'eres b'tzuras igulim ze b'teich ze, it subdivides into its into these balls. The seder hispashtus ha'igulim halalu, and the seder of how it is divided up, the seich halal atzimtzum, First, it goes the goes into the balls of arich anpin, which is the top one, I guess that's the keser.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, ubesoich hamalchus shaloi the hainu mikeser da'arich ad malchus shaloi. So it fills up, the light fills up the 10 spheres of arich all the way till malchus, which is the bottom. Ubesoich hamalchus shaloi, and within the ball of malchus of the arich, nispashet achar chut or ein seif lamata misham. It sounds like it comes out from there another
it's
a vein of
right. It spreads downward.
Right. Benasa asar igulim da'aba. Then it spreads into another 10 balls that represent the
another parts of right. Good.
Mikeser da'aba, from the top of Abba, the Keser of Abba, ad malchus shaloi, meaning through all 10 balls that are comprising the Abba. V'chein yardu v'nispashtu b'seich malchus shel Abba asar igulim de'ima. And then coming out of malchus of Abba is another vein of light that goes into the 10 balls of Ima, the next parts of. V'seich malchus de'ima nispashtu asar igulim de'zah. It goes into the next parts of, which is Zah, which it has its own 10 balls. V'seich malchus de'zah nispashtu asar igulim de'nuk. So it's almost like they're one on top of the next. Starting all the way at the top is Arich, and all the way at the bottom is the Nuk de'zah.
So that's actually one inside of the next.
They're inside of each other?
Yeah, they're inside of each other. So that you know what? I'm going to just give me a second. My memory is not great. I have a book that I want to bring. I'm getting it now. I'm going to bring it out. So that. All right. And it has a lot of drawings in it, but you don't need them right now. You're doing great. So, okay, go ahead.
Until we completed, so by saying that structure, it comes out that there are 50 balls that are contained within each other, that comprise the 5 general klali partsufim, in a way that each partsuf has 10 balls. There are 5 partsufim, so then it's a total of 50.
Mm-hmm.
The 10 spheres of Arich, they're the outermost 10 balls of the Halal.
Right.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, that's another partsuf, which is much less tangible, which from Arich, that Arich is like close to nothing. And this is even more panimi, and so more closer to the nature of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. It's called Atik Yomim. He'll discuss it more.
Okay.
I'm not doing a good job of showing this on the page. I'm watching what you're doing and not watching what I'm videoing. Okay, I'll get it back here. Okay, what is the word we're on now? Yeah, sorry, Iguli Atik. Okay.
So the Arich is the closest. The parts of Arich and its 10 balls are the closest to the outermost piece of the Halal, which is the line between the Halal and the Ein Sof.
Except that there's also another partsuf in between, which is called Atik.
Right.
Later he's going to talk about that too, but we're getting close to the end of the Inyan that we're dealing with now. Go ahead.
Because the igulim of Arich are all the way closest to the Ein Sof on the outermost part of the Halal, it sounds like they have a maila over the rest of the spheres. Keser gadol b'kamos min hachachma. Keser is of a higher quality than chachma. Kivan shel igul de keser gadol b'hakefay me'igulei chachma me'igulei hachachma, because it's larger. I guess meaning the 10 spheres of Arich, they comprise within them all the 10 spheres of Chachma. So the bigger ones, it sounds like the larger they are, the more they are, the more size they have.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Kivan she'igul de keser gadol b'hakefay me'igulei hachma. La'oid sherei hamatzil, the matzil, which is the Ein Sof, meir shefa or Ein Sof misaviv l'chalal ha'igul hazeh. So the matzil's light is shining directly onto the outermost piece of the halal.
Right, that boundary right there between the two of them. Right, it's right there.
Question: is the boundary between the halal and the Ein Sof, is that meant to block out the of the Ein Sof and only allow the of the Ein Sof to come derech the kav?
Yeah.
So really, being close to that boundary doesn't give you any benefit because you can't access the Ein Sof through that.
Except that the Ein shines through the boundary.
Oh, okay.
So therefore, it's more like yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so there is like an amount of light that's shining from the Ein Sof through the boundary, even though the main piece of it, I guess, is going through the kav.
That's correct. But so in Kabbalah, they might call the first eye, the light from the Ein Sof into the Chalo, they might call that a ha'ara instead of or. They might sound as shining, like it's shining into it, but it's not. It's a second level. It's not the light of the Ein Sof. Go ahead.
Right. Oh, so the only place that the actual of the Ein Sof comes into the halal is through the kav. Everywhere else, it's just like it's passing through a filter.
Good. That's right.
Okay. Kikeser go. Okay. V'oid sherei hamatzil meir shefa or Ein Sof misav l'chalal ha'igul hazeh. The matzil's light shines around the halal, and the klei hakeser shu klei hachitza and hayoser, the outermost eagle, which is the 10 balls of keser, hu hamakabel tchila es ha'or hamakif. That receives from the or that surrounds. This is the or hamakif is that surrounds inside the boundary or outside the boundary.
Well, that's interesting. That we didn't get to it yet, or that where he says that there are two different types of oros. There's a makif and there's a panimi.
Yeah, so we did that. That was in Tesvav. I think we did Tesvav.
Yeah, we got out of sync. So he says. So let's see. We'll read it in context now because he dropped a name in it. Who are more about the makif. So the outside surrounding light is going to be the light that shines in from the outside. So let's see what else he has to say about it.
And only after the light passes through the keser does it approach the parts of the chachma. Aduk means connected.
Yeah, good. Clinging to.
So
like it.
Is connected or clinging to the top of the chut of the Ein Sof. Umakabel shefa yeser elyon min hachachma. So it's accessing the Ein Sof only was just entering into the halal when the keser starts to receive its shefa, but the chachma only gets the shefa of the Ein Sof a little bit later.
That's right. So it goes down. We're going to learn some other things about the line later. We're getting to it actually, but let's see what else. You want to do your Dalet? Yeah, your Dalet, please. Yeah, go ahead. You're doing great.
Okay, so V'achar kach b'seicham eser igulim. There are 10 balls. Cherim. V'hem eser spheres da'aba elu b'seich elu. Eagle b'seich eagle. Ad siyum kol pratei ha'atzilos. So la'achar shenishlamu lehis agel eser igulim, the parts of arich, after the first 10 balls are completed. Yardim u'mispashtim b'seich ha'chalal eser igulim shem eser spheres, the parts of abba. So the next 10 balls, I guess, are like formulated.
Okay.
So the next 10 are all within the balls of Keser.
Right.
Okay, can we see Tesvav again?
Okay. Let's try to keep it in context. So that's right. Do it again.
Okay, so in Tesvav, he says, Ulechol igul me'elu, each of these balls, yesh ar makif elav agul, the gam kain kemoisei. There's a light that surrounds it that's also round, just like the ball. I guess it takes the form of the ball that it's shining on. The nimtza sheyesh ar pini is a light inside the ball, the ar makif, and there's an ar surrounding the ball, the kulam bechinas igulim, and they're all balls. So the inside light and the outside light are both ball-shaped. Kol igul min ha'igulim sheteich zeh halal, all the circles, or the balls from within that are in the halal, yeshle bepratusai igul noisaf asher makivasai mikol tzada. They also have a ball that surrounds each one from all around it. Sherei kol every light, I guess it means from the light of the Ein Sof that comes in, yesh ba bechinas or panimi v'or makif. There's an inside light and an outside light, or a surrounding light.
Right.
The 10 balls are not just 10 balls by themselves. Elohim asara esrim igulim. They're really 20 balls. Why? Asara mehem pnimiyim va'asara mehem makifim. There are 10 inner balls and 10 outer. Ve'elu hamekifim, and the outer ones, heim gamkein igulim, they're also round. Shemikivan sha'or ha'pnimi hu oval, because the inside light is round. Mimelo gam ha'or ha'makifai nase gam hu betzuras igul. They also, I guess, again, they take the shape of that which they're surrounding.
Good.
There's a ball that's the pnim of arich, the inside of it, and it surrounds it. And surrounding it, so the balls of arich are, each one has an inside and an inner ball and an outer ball. And within those 20, there's the clay abba, which I guess are the igulim of abba. There also is the the ares makifim of abba, which I guess are also another 10 balls. So it would be the abba has also 20.
Right.
So this is the way it works with each of the spheres.
Well, that was just lovely. Why don't we keep going?
So can I ask a few questions about that?
Oh, absolutely. Discuss, yes.
Would it be, he's saying here that there's 20 balls, 10 outside ones, and 10 inside ones. Now, my question would be, I guess, why aren't there 30 balls? 10 of them could be the center ones, which are the actual eagle, and then the Ur Pnim and the Ur Makif surround something, I guess, the actual eagle. Meaning, he's saying almost like that each eagle is really comprised of two pieces, an inside piece and an outside piece. That means that there's really no eagle. The whole thing is just Ur.
Okay, so I don't get the question exactly. That's right. That's what he's saying. And he's going to say that this isn't the first time he's going to say it. But he's going to stop talking about the Agulim on the next page. But basically the idea of the Or Panimi, the Or Makif, is a basic idea here. So it is like you have always, we're going to get to it a little bit more, that you always have opposites. This is a kind of a little opposite thing. You have a light on the inside, which is not the light on the outside. And so
Do the Ur Pnimi and the Ur Makif touch each other at some point?
We're going to get to that in the next piece.
Okay.
The problem is that the Or Panimi is inside sort of say a Kli. And it's a lesser light. And the more strong light is on the outside. That's the one that's closest to the Ein Sof.
Right.
You can't, the Kli that holds the light on the inside has only a certain amount of ability to be able to maintain itself. Let's see the circle, the basic circle itself. And you have a question about that. What is the circle? It's a light. So this basic light itself actually has two parts to it. One part that wants to get in and another part that's inside. And between the two, which probably wants to go out, because it's the nature of being closed in. So we're going to see this a little bit more. So the two of them are like going at each other.
Right.
And that's a little bit like marriage. So he's just talking to you about this a little bit. He's talking about it. Right now we're looking at the very beginning of reality, and there is already a hint over here of two forces that really are one light, but they're divided into two: a front, inside, and an outside. There's also concept of a front and a back. That's another idea. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to all of that.
Okay.
Okay, so you're doing number Tes Zion, and there's deeper questions in what you asked, but also We'll see if we can refine it out better as he goes along. Let's do the test Zion.
Okay, test Zion. B'habachina hashniya, the second bechina, the second aspect, kihine be'emtza kol ha'atzilos hazeh ha'ogol, in the middle of all these balls, mispashet derech kav ha'yashar, there's a straight line, bechinas or, which is light, dugmas ha'igol mamish, rakshahu b'yashar. It's the same. It's similar to the light of the eagle, but it's just a straight line instead of a ball.
Yeah, what was his words? He says, "Mispashet derek." Before that, "Abachina hashniya hine be'emsa kol hatzilus hazeh ha'agol mispashet derek bechinas or dugmas ha'igol." Okay, it says it's like dugmas. Okay.
Right. And the difference is rak shehu b'yosher. The difference is that the kav is straight, whereas the eagle is round.
Right.
The yeshba bechinas arich, the ava, the ima, the za, the nok, the kulam b'yosher. It has all the same qualities as the igulim, but it's all in a straight line.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to start talking about that now. I messed this up a little bit. I'm not doing a good job here of keeping this on the video. So, because I'm listening to you and watching. But I apologize to anybody who might be listening to this in the future. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Until now we've spoken about the balls that are within each other, which is in the round ball-shaped chalal that contains, I guess, that we're talking about. The ata shav harav levayer inyan bechinas hachut ein seif hanigro kav. Now he's going to take a break from that and talk about the Arizal. The Rav is going to talk about the inyan of the chut, this line which is called kav that is drawn into the chalal. Shehu bechinas kav yashar, it's a straight line. Ve'einenu bechinas eagle, it's not round. So this is just a straight, thin line.
Mm-hmm.
Ukefisha hiskarnu la'elas hamashal de gildei habitzolim. We had the peels of an onion, the layers of an onion. Shehein eagle b'seich eagle, that they're one round, one peel within the next. Ube'emtz isam, in the middle, yeshnoi kav mispashe v'yered b'seich zeh halal. In the center of the onion, the eye of the onion goes from the top all the way into the middle, and it's not a peel, it's not round.
Right.
And it's made up of the same substance of the igulim, sheyeshle or makif upnimi, that it also has two lights, a makif and a pnim. V'chein yeshba es kol ha'eser spheres t'chamesh partzufim, so too it has the 10 spheres of the 5 partzufim, so I guess the 50 spheres really, which are the makeup of the 5 partzufim, which are arich ampin, which is again keser, ava ima, which is chacham bina, the za, which is the chesed gvura tferes netzach chayid yisoid, and the parts of a chamishi shu, parts of a acharin, the final one, which is nikra nuk the za, which is malchus. V'chol elu hachomesh partzufim nechlolim b'kav hazeh. All of the 5 partzufim are within this line. Hayered b'yesher k'mesh matzinu b'sfiras the igulim. The same way that we find this with regard to the igulim. So it sounds like he's saying is that this line also has many different levels in it, like 50 different levels. Although they're not round, so they're just, I guess, like different pieces of the line are different spheres.
Right, like a thermometer. Yeah, very good, like a thermometer, which has gradations in it. Right.
So each level would be like a new level within the partzuf and then within the sphera.
Right. We'll get into more of it. We'll get into it a lot more.
Okay. Ubechina zayis hashniya karat hatera es ha'adam tselem elokim. Because of this second aspect, this line, the Torah calls Adam tselem elokim. Hihu kav yashar mispashe derech kavim. It's a straight line that spreads out. Derech kavim. What is the way of the lines? What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let's read the whole thing, and then we'll come back to when talk about Selim, and when to talk about the fact that he said first it's a kav, it's hu kav yashar, and as it spreads into multiple kavs.
Right. Okay. Ukemash kol sefer hazer v'hatikunim eino medaber el b'zeh hayesher. The sefer zer and the sefer and the tikunei zer. I'm assuming that tikunim means the tikunei zer.
That's what it means, right? That's right.
So that talks about all the kav. It's all talking about the kav. Commission and viral come on, and like we're going to explain. So
Okay.
pirush.
So let me just say one thing. Tselem, the word tselem, tselem elokim. So tselem refers to three qualities of the light. The light is based of an or panimi, which is called the tzadi tselem, an or makif, which is called the lama tselem, and another or, which is makif, that one, which is called the mem tselem. This is the light that's going to be transferred coming down into Zeir Anpin. We're going to see it later on, but that's what it's talking about. That's why it's called it Tselem Elokim, that Hashem caused his light to flow through inner light and two surrounding lights. So that's what, and we're going to learn about that.
Okay. Fascinating. So Yud Zayin. So the Pirush. So in Yud Zayin, Pirush. The first aspect that we discussed within the Chalal HaTzimtzum, hu bechinas igulim, is the aspect of the balls. Bechinas hayosher, and the straight line, the straight thing, shehia bechina hashniya nikras stelem elikim. That's what we call tzelem elikim. Shenamar, like the pasuk says, vayivra elikim etz ha'adam tzelmai, that Hashem created man in the tzelem, in his form, B'Tselem Elikim bara Isai, in the Tselem Elikim he created him. Dahainu, Shashir HaKaima Shel HaAdam, the full shear of the vertical space of the man.
Right.
Not space,
because now we're talking about verticality instead of roundness. So,
right.
Okay.
Ukidugmas V'Tavnis HaKav HaYashar was like is the same, in the same form of the first, the straight line. In many places in the Zohar, it only talks about the aspect of the yashar, of the straight line. Whenever the Rav talks about the igulim, he's trying to teach us that there's, aside from the Bechina of the straight line, there's also a Bechina of Igulim.
Yeah, and I'm saying that in Jewish astrology, or in astronomy, the two of them together, that's where you really get into the idea of the balls, because we live in a ball which is circular. And I think I mentioned to you before that the Kabbalists call this world the Olam HaFanim, the world of wheels. So that, your watch works on a wheel. Everything that you have works on wheels. If there were only squares, the whole world wouldn't work. But the world is built on wheels. So once you know that, so if you want to really study Jewish astrology, for example, like your name, I don't know how you first your ancestors, then you would be dealing more with the circular aspect. But the Rav doesn't go into that. This is what he said. He wants to let you know it's there. And in the CHAIM, it's built up. It's just a lot more to be said about it, but not here. And so that's where we're at. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's good. I wasn't sure why he's trying to turn away from the Shar HaIgulim. You're saying because it's not really what he's dealing with.
That's right. It's not what he's dealing with. That's correct.
Okay. Yud Ches. Vida ki bezeha Atzilus. In this Atzilus, in the how did you type the word Atzilus again?
Well, we're working on it, but it really means nearness. It's a separated nearness. In other words, near is not there. Near is close to there.
Right.
So there's an olam, which is called Atzilus. He's dropping the name in here now. We haven't talked about it much. Da ki bezer hachalo nimsa zer ha'adam hanikra kadma. Is that where we're at, or where are we? Okay, go ahead.
Well, so v'da ki bezer ha'atzilus yesh mine olamos la'ein kates. There are types of olamos, which I think you translated as hidden, like ways of hiding the light.
Well,
kates,
so maybe an olam. So the names of the olam. I lost you a little bit. You in the dark print or the light print?
I'm in the dark print.
Dark print on Yud Tes?
Yud Ches.
Yud Ches. I skipped. Okay, my mistake. Yud Ches. Where's Yud Ches? Yud Daled, Yud Ches. Okay, here's Yud Ches. Okay, now, what was the question again?
So I guess he's talking about Olamos Le'ain Kates.
Oh, so you want to know what Olamos are? So
which translation?
There are four basic Olamos. And those are called Atzilus, which is the Olam, that is what's hidden. The Ein Sof is hidden. So this is a place where the hiddenness is the least amount. The next one's called Bria, and you're going to get this now in this section we're learning on now. The next one's called Yetzira, and after that, the fourth one is called Asiya, and it's called by the acronym Abia. So Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. Those are the Olamos. In those Olamos are the 5 Partsufim, and in the Partsufim are 10 Spheros each. So that's basic. I can tell you about that right now.
Okay. So the Ein Anu Ata B'Diuram, we're not going to talk about them now. Avol Nasa Levar Ata Prat Echad, we're going to talk about one particular aspect, Asher Hu Kolel Kol Metzius HaChalal Hazeh, which applies to everything that exists within the Chalal. Umimenu Mispashtim Kol HaOlamis Kulom, and from that aspect, from this Prat that we're going to discuss, comes all the Olamis come from there. Relation Aspire Bez Hashem, like we're going to talk. V'hu B'chinas Metzius Adam Kadmain, L'chol HaKidumim, which is the Adam, which is Kadmain L'chol HaKidumim, the Metzius of Adam, which was first or before all other things.
All other beginnings, so maybe we would say we call it Panemius. It's more Panemi, which means that's a concept of Atzilus, like it's closer. So,
right.
Okay.
So Adam is Kadmain L'chol HaKidumim?
Okay, there's a name here which is called Adam Kadmon. It's a whole name. So Adam Kadmon means, and it's translated in English, sometimes they call it primordial man, if that really means anything. But it means the first, what it means is there is a template of a formation, and he's going to discuss it now. It's a template for the formation of a covering for the light of the Ein Sof. So he's going to discuss it a little bit now. You have a few more minutes, so let's see what you get to.
Yeah. Okay. So this is mentioned in the Zohar, in Parshas Kiseitze Reish Ayin Tes, and in the Tikkunim in Yud Tes. And after, meaning once this template, it sounds like, was put into play, everything follows that structure.
Yeah. Very good.
The Eldest Bar, we said before, Shalachar Histalkus, V'tzimtzum Or HaEin Sof Min HaChalal, after Hashem pulled all the Ein Sof, the Or out of the Chalal, Chazar V'nichnas Chut Dak Shel Or, El Teich HaChalal, one line of light came back in. V'hinei Chut Zeh Shel Or, Ein Sof, this piece of Or Ein Sof, Yesh Misvivai, B'chinas Guf, Hanikra Adam Kadmon, or Ak.
Right, so, there's Ak.
So it has a bechina, an aspect of guf. V'hu kedugmas ha'adam ha'tachlein. It's like similar to the adam ha'tachlein. Hakol mi guf shebeseicha neshama. Like I'm assuming he means a physical person that has within them an aspect of spirituality.
Yeah, there's a neshama inside, and there's a guf. Inside of the guf is the neshama. Go ahead.
V'oifen she'ak hu bechinas ha'guf. The ak is the guf. The chut ha'ein sof hu bechinas ha'neshama shebeseichai. So the guf surrounds, the ak surrounds the kav of the ein sof. Mi bechinas ak ve'eloch nitna reshus l'daber. We can talk about whatever's after the bechinas ak. Ach l'mala mimenu, that which is preceding it, ein lon reshus l'daber. V'chein bebechinas chut or ein sof shehu or ein sof mamish. We don't talk at all about what the Ur of the Ein Sof is itself. Only whatever is lower than it, Hanikra Levush, which is like a clothing or a cover, the Erech Lechut Ur Ein Sof, with meaning we only talk about the things that are a Levush for the Ur Ein Sof, for that Kav, but we don't talk about the Kav itself. Yesh Lan Rishos L'Daber. Lefika Suha Bechina Nikras Adam Kadmain L'Chol HaKidumim. Therefore, it's called the Ak, L'chol HaKidumim. It's the most, I guess, like what you said, the primordial man or the primordial structure for covering the R of the Ein Sof, for being a lavush for the R of the Ein Sof. L'chut R Ein Sof ad Ak, Yeshnam Olamis Rabbim L'Ein Kates. Between the R Ein Sof and the Ak, there are many Olamis. Asher Kama Mehem Masar HaArizal El Talmidoi Bahari Saruk. Many of them the Arizal, the Rav, gave over to his Talmud. Ach Legila Inyanam Bahacha. He did not explain them
over here
in the CHAIM.
Because so I think that you know the Risaruk?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so the Risaruk is some really deep stuff. Beautiful stuff. But he was there before Rabbi Chaim Vital was there. So therefore, it's not going to be concluded. You know what, the Risaruk, we have it in other places, but it's not mentioned here. And so between the Olam Atzilus and the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, he says there's Olamos in there, all kinds of them. However, that's not the subject over here.
Right. Because it's not the place to talk about these high places that are within the Ak. Once the Arizal taught about the Ak, he was Megala that should Eina Medaber Me'inyan Chut Ar Ein Sof. He doesn't talk anymore about what the Ein Sof, between the Ein Sof and the Ak. Umehai Taimo Gam Eina Medaber Inyan His Havos Ak Al Yidei Tzimtzum. The Arizal does not discuss at all how the Ak came into being. Ki Al Yidei Zeh Yavei L'daber Me'inyan HaChut. One might speak about the word, about what the construct of the Chut. The Arizal doesn't want to talk about that at all. There are holes within the Ak. That through those holes, the R of the Ein Sof passes out and is lavish. What does that mean?
Clothed, right? Let me see. Because it's clothed, and one of the basic concepts that we deal with is hislavshus, is that the light of Panemius is inside of everything, and then we have to see how he's going to explain how this is going to work out.
So meaning any of the light that's passing out through the holes is going to already have a lavush on it.
No, I think he meant that the light of the Ein Sof is inside of the lavush. And then you look at the lavush, and the lavush has openings in it. And some of them are bigger than others, and there's differences. He's going to talk about it.
Okay. So, I mean, is like... when he says a hole, does he mean like a filter, or he means like a direct access to the Ein Sof?
He means like your eyes, your ears, your nose. There's a 6 right there. There's 6 there. Then your mouth is number 7. Then you also have a tibor, a belly button, and then you have two other openings in your body. Besides that, other places he's going to talk about, maybe not so far down the line. He's going to talk about your toenails, your fingernails, which are also openings. But that's later. And so here, let's just say we're talking about the eyes, nose, and ears. And we're talking about the belly button and the yesod.
Okay. So the light that leave the Ak, they are the worlds of Abiyah, which are Atzilus, Bri, Yitzir, and Asiyah. And so too the worlds that are above Abiyah, Ki Olam HaAtzilus, Hu Rak Mihatibur Da'ak Ad Kaf Ragloi. They go from the belly button of the Ak till the feet. Mikaf HaRegel Oimdim Olamis Biyah. And from the feet and down, the palms of the feet and lower, that's where the
Bria, Yitzir,
and Asiyah are.
And Asiyah, right. It's called Bia.
So I mean, it sounds like there are worlds that are higher up, but not talking about them.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Like, he says that the Olam HaAtzilus is from the Tibor and down.
Yes, so you want to know what's from the Tibor Lamala.
Right.
There's no place of transferring that light. There's going to be some other things we're going to learn about that, but it's a very good question. Why is it from the belly button downwards, and why isn't it from covering it completely? Or something like that. The other alamos. So we're going to have to see how they're going to develop. But he gave you a fact. The fact is they're going to develop around the Tibor Avak. So whatever's coming out of the Tibor Avak is going to be important. And then possibly maybe it's also going to be that what's coming out of the eyes of Ak and the ears of Ak and the nose of Ak, that those are also going to be important in terms of the developing what's going to take place from the Tibor Lamata. We'll see.
Okay. You do your test also?
It's okay with me. Just love to hear you read. You're doing a great job. You'll teach next year. Go ahead.
Okay. Daki bazeha halal, within the halal, nimsa zeh ha'adam hanikra kadmain l'chol hakidumim keniskar. Within the halal is this structure called adam kadmain. That's before all kidumim. That's the first thing, or like the template. The yesh by mitzias eser spheres, and within it has the 10 spheres. The himimala says kol halal hazeh, and they fill up the entire halal. So the adam kadmain fills up the entire halal with its 10 spheres.
Yeah, I think he's saying that the kav is now called Adam Kadmon, or excuse me, there's a cover over it called Adam Kadmon. Okay, go ahead.
Ha'olam hakodam b'yoser she'ein oiskim klal b'mashal amala himenu, the most pnimi type of olam, which there's nothing more earlier than that, or more pnim than that, nikra ak kanizkar ubay maschilim le'eshabesh eser spheres, and through it, that's where it's filtered into 10 different spheres, shlemos, which are complete, kederech hashtalshos kol ha'olam, in the same way that it continues down into the rest of the whole world.
All worlds go develop like that.
Right, meaning everything is going to continue to draw down and get lower, I guess, through the same path of with a kav, with an adam kadmain, or with some kind of a structure of 10 spheres.
Yeah, so here I'm thinking that there's a way of understanding this in terms of what's called ovi, or oivi. So that means that you look at it as there's a template, and you could either put it on the top or the bottom, whatever you want. It depends on how the light is working. And then underneath it is a template of 10 spheros. It's a form of a man with a rosh tok sof. Then underneath it, let's say, just for example, that is going to be the template called Kesser. So just say, for example. Then underneath it is going to be another one. Looks exactly the same. It's the same length, same height, but it's further away from the light of the Ein Sof, because the light of the Ein Sof is really closest to Kesser. Kesser's really got that special light in it. All the rest of the lights we'll see later on are contained within it. And as you go down the line, there's going to be one template on top of the next. Or they could also do it side by side. But whatever it is, whatever's happening in the Kesser of this place is happening to the Kesser in the world down below it, and the Kesser down below it, and the Kesser down below it, all like that. So that's all the olamos, and that's how they work together in the same pattern.
Okay. So I mean they're all exactly the same, but one is just further than the next.
That's right, because that's right, because Kesser is closer to the light of the Ein Sof, and Malchus is furthest away. So it's going to be on the bottom. You could also do it the other way. There's no up and down really. So he's just doing that to get us oriented, so we could see how a world like this, like ours, pops up. Okay, let's go and let's finish up now.
Once the light becomes thicker, I guess, like more clouded, less visible through the tzimtzum, shuv hu eine bedargas ar ein seif. It's no longer called the ar ein seif. Shen is bar by shem haya shav ar ha'ein seif. If it would return to the ar ein seif, mumala is kol halal, haya tzimtzum is battle al yidei zeh. If the ar ein seif would fill, meaning, I guess there's like a block, like something that's blocking additional ar ein seif from passing in, because it sounds like if it would, then it would destroy the whole halal.
Okay. So let me just say, la'achar shegavar nis'ave ha'or al yedei hatzimtzum, shuv hu einem bedargas or ein sof. It's not that. Now you have this thickening that took place as a result of oxygen is boyer bo she'im koyer shov or ha'ein sof u'malach kol ha'chalo, there wouldn't be anything left. So this is a way of hiding the light of the Ein Sof, and that's the first place we see it.
Right. Okay.
Well, listen, a very, very nice reading, and, you could probably go quite a ways in here. And there's always questions. So.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I don't think I would understand much of it without you.
Well, on but it's also nice to be able to read it yourself. I think it's very nice that you could do that, because then the words are in your mouth already.
Right.
Okay, Kol Tuv, and see you next time. There is a little problem here with the potential Sfarim. This one's just fine as far as I'm concerned, but I've been using it for years. But now I see there's a new version, and I know him, that is the Tiv, and then he keeps making new versions, and there's apparently one out there, and I'm going to try to get it. But we'll stay tuned. So yours in other words, yours has not come yet, right?
Yeah. So actually, I don't know what happened, but it got to Boca, and then for some reason the shipping, the UPS decided to send it back to the sender. Like they didn't even attempt to deliver it. So okay. I'm waiting. He has to send it back now.
Who'd you get it from?
The SARM Center.
Oh, that's the one. Okay, so what's happened here is I called him yesterday because he's my guy also, and he doesn't have it. He doesn't have the new one. So it turns out that Dr. Jimmy is related to the people at another bookstore called Beagleisen. And they specialize in find books that are not so easy to find. And I've had that in the past, and they found the new version. But Sfarm said didn't have it. All right, we'll work it out. We'll see if I've asked him to look for it because I've been working with him a long time. And so if not, though, I'm going to go to Beagleisen.
Okay.
Okay, stay tuned. Thanks so much for learning with me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing time with me. Yeah.
Okay, Kol Tuv.
Bye-bye.